No. Good, good.
What was your biggest takeaway from Monday night?
I think the biggest takeaway after watching the film is, for us, we just didn't finish. Didn't finish drives. Thought we moved the ball pretty well. I mean, hats off to them. They were a great defense. And, if you want to know what they're capable of, just watch week one, against the 6-1 Packers. I mean, that says it all. But I think we had our opportunities to finish drives and then obviously finish the game. And we didn't get it done. And that's something we've been talking about all year, in all these close games. And also for an offense, for us to, get over that hump that we talk about getting over, we got to score touchdowns. We got to finish in the end zone. And that's a big emphasis for us.
A lot of other Seahawks on the other side, Jacksonville and specifically Shaq. Talk about going against him this week and what it'll be like. Will it take you back to your practice days?
Yeah, I mean, Shaq's been a great player, his entire time in the league. And, he's really a great corner. It's going to be a huge test for us. Obviously, we played against him in practice and, me seeing him for the past, 2 or 3 years, we have some, familiarity there. But, he's been playing great all year. He's been, shadowing guys, and he's really been locking up, man. He's been, being who he is. And so we expect, another tough battle from him. We know that he's going to compete, especially coming from here. And so, we got to prepare like, it's going to be, another tough week. And, we're going to see another good defense, man. They got a lot of athletes, a lot of athletic guys, some fast guys on the edge. Their safeties, their linebackers, they all have speed, and they're playing hard. They're playing hard. I know their record doesn't really show who they are, but, they're a really good defense.
The numbers across the front of that defensive front don't look like they're getting after the quarterback maybe as much as they are. What have you seen in the last couple of weeks about the pressure that they're getting?
Well, specifically in that last game they played, man, they were getting after it, and they have a bunch of first-round guys there, so they're capable. They have guys who are capable, and so we just got to make sure that we block them, and that we really stone them up front. We communicate, and we get that accomplished because if we can stall their front seven, we can take our shots on the back end.
Coach Carroll talked yesterday about the inconsistencies with the communication up front on the offensive line. And he had a few plays on Monday night where you guys had to burn timeouts. You didn't get the snap off. As the quarterback, where do you feel like you can improve or how you can help that front line to address that issue?
Oh, well, that's, you could put that right on me, and there were some looks that they had. They had 2 weeks to prepare for us at a bye week, and they came out with some different looks. Some things that were going to give us some problems. And so that's where you see the timeout so we can talk about those things and really get it down as to what we wanted to do. And so communication is huge, especially in offense. It's huge, and especially up front for the O-line. For them to be on the same page with the backs and myself and for me to be on the same page with the wideouts, I mean, that's critical in execution. So it's just one of those things where we all got to get better, and, that falls on me as well.
Assess a defense pre-snap. What is the benefit of being an empty?
There are a lot of benefits. You get them spread out. You can see, if they're sending some pressures, you can see the guys displaced, whether they're defensive linemen, linebackers, and then you can kind of tell, which guys are coming. And that's one of the things that we were in. On third down, we were in a lot of empty, so it was key for us just to like I said, communicate. They had some different looks, which are really good. And so I would expect to see those things continue to come up until we solve them. And that's why, we really went back to the drawing board on that and just making sure that we are communicating well and that we have all the answers for those looks.
Conversely, how does that compare to when you're under center, and especially in play action when you're turning your back to the defense for a split?
Well, I think, as you mix and match personnel, you get different looks. Not to talk too much on last week, but they were a really heavy dime nickel team. So they put a lot of defensive backs out there and used them in a bunch of different ways. And so sometimes when you get into heavier personnels, you get more base defense, more linebackers on the field versus having DBs on the field. And so to me, that's like I said, there's give and take with all that stuff. You can go on for days and days about which one's better than the other. And it really just comes down to execution at the end of the day.
I know that at quarterback, there's a fine line between, extending a play and holding on to the ball. What have the conversations been like for you this week as you've tried to find that line?
Just continuing to play in rhythm, playing in rhythm, hitching up in the pocket, If my first read's not there, get into my second read and get into the check down. If that's not an option, running the ball. If I can't run, throwing it away.
How much more of the offense is there that you maybe haven't used yet in your hands?
Well, I think for us, we always come up with a game plan that we feel is specific to the team we're about to play. And you're not going to run your entire offense in 1 week. I mean, that's just not real. So for us, finding the best plays, the plays that we think are going to be the best plays for us on game day, the ones that we're comfortable with, the ones that we can communicate well with, and then we can execute. Our coaches do a phenomenal job at studying. They study this thing all day, all night, and they know us better than anyone else. So, really it just comes down to what plays are going to work and then us executing as players.
Have the games evolved to where you stuck to the game plan? How much has been left on the table you weren't able to get to?
Yeah, you can't call all the plays on the sheet. I mean, I wish we could, but, that's just not realistic. And as a game, the ebbs and flows throughout the game, there's, different situations, and you have your calls for those situations. So you really have to stick to the game plan. And it's situational ball. But for the most part, we've been calling all the things that we wanted to call. A lot of that just falls on the players and executing and us, making sure that we do the things that we need to do to get first downs and score touchdowns. And, the coaches, they call the game, but we got to execute it.
DK had the touchdown early and then didn't really have another catch until kind of late in the game. What were they kind of, I don't know, what was there an issue there in trying to get the ball to DK?
No issues. I think, we talked about it last week about us wanting to establish the run. So that's what we did, the inclement weather, and then us obviously wanting to establish the run is kind of the reason for what we did, and that was our game plan, and we stuck to it. And we had our chances at the end. We targeted, DK as many times as we did. Obviously we'll want to do that more, but, with the game plan that we had and the way that, the game was going, that's just kind of how it played out. So obviously we want to get the ball to our best players and give them as many shots as we can, but we also have to be mindful of everything else as well.
After Tyler got off to a hot start the first couple of weeks, have you seen defenses adjust to make sure he doesn't have those big plays over the top?
Well, they're always going to play him like that. Tyler's a big play threat at any moment, so they're always going to key in on Tyler and where he lines up and try and make sure that he doesn't hit the home run. But it's our job to make sure that we get him in those spots and we take those shots, because the more shots he gets, the more big plays he's going to make. That's just how he is. He's a great player. He's been doing it for a long time, been making a lot of plays, and we just got to continue to press forward and continue to put him in those spots to make plays.
Geno, what did you see out of D. Eskridge as a receiver before he got hurt? Just working through the little bit of training camp he got to and everything, and what would it mean for you guys to get him back in action here sometime soon?
Oh, man, D was coming on, man. He was coming on. He missed training camp with the injury, but obviously he's a dynamic player, explosive player, brings a lot to the table. He's smart, he's tough, he plays hard. And as he comes back, man, we just want to make sure that make sure that he's fine, he's able to, go out there and play, and he's feeling well, because once he's out there, he's going to be dynamic.
DK's been involved in a lot of chippy play with defensive backs. There was the back and forth with him and Lattimore Monday night. Why do you think that is?
He plays hard. He plays hard. And it's the NFL, man. It's a lot of competition out there. The best of the best, man. Every week he's going to see the best corner, and so he's going out there. He's a physical specimen. He's going out there to impose his will. And, you expect those guys to come back and, try and take shots at him. And, he's just got to be smart with that, make sure that he's not hurting the team, which he hasn't been, but still, be dominant. And that's what he's doing.
What was his demeanor like in the huddle? Did it seem like he was worked up?
No, not at all. He's calm. He's calm. He's blocking. I mean, you watch it, he's blocking. I mean, he's got to block. So he's not going to take it easy on those guys. And I don't expect them to take it easy on him as well. It's tough out there. It's competition. Guys are going at it. And, that's just how that happened.
Ethan's going to play some on Sunday. How comfortable are you with two different centers?
Well, the good thing for me is I've been able to work with both of those guys as they've competed. And, Ethan is a very smart guy. He's been here for a while. He's a leader in that locker room. He knows what he's doing. And Kyle does as well. We love to see those guys compete. We talk about competition, all throughout the year. That makes us better. So for Ethan, he's just got to continue to stay, focused on, just this game. Not worried about anything else. Just focus on this game and communication and all those things. And Kyle the same way. You never know what can happen.
when it comes to how you call the plays and the cadence that you use, is there anything in that where you try to emulate Russ so that it's consistent for everybody, or do you have your own cadence that they know from practice?
No, it's important that the cadence stays the same. You know, it's very important. That's huge. I mean, you can't mix and match it because you'll get guys, you know, false starting and things like that, and we can't hurt ourselves. So it's important that we all sound the same, we all talk the same language, and then when it comes to the cadence, you know, it might not be exactly the same, but, you know, it's got to be pretty similar because that's huge for the linemen, hearing the snap count and getting off the ball. That's incredibly huge for their success.
What do you do personally to make sure your confidence never wavers, even if things aren't going your way on the field?
You know, I'm just focused on play-by-play. That's really how I see it, just play-by-play. It's never going to be perfect. You know, the reality is that this is a tough game, tough position. We play great defenses every week. So for me, focus on the next play, not worry about what happened in the past, whether that's good or bad.
How do you assess how you play these games?
You know, I mean, to me, you just got to go by the numbers. I mean, that's really the only thing you can go by. And so, you know, you look at the numbers, you know, versus those two defenses that I played against, really the three defenses, and you just compare them to whoever else has played them. That's the way that I look at comparisons if you want to make them. There's reads in the game. We get grade sheets. The coaches, they critique us, and the scouts and everybody, they grade us harder than anyone else. And so they know better than anyone, you know, what we can do, what we're capable of, how well we're doing. So, you know, that's really all it comes down to. For me, you know, I just play ball. And if I can, you know, do better, I will. You know, I want to play my hardest. I want to do the best that I can to make sure that we're in position to win. And then, you know, obviously when we get chances to end the game and go win the game, you know, that's all that matters to me is getting wins.
Anything else? Thank you, Geno.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Geno.